I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up, it's time to look at
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Kamen Riders. I'm your host, Josh Meek, the Uber Geek, joined, as always, by my good friend, Toby Tobes. What's up, Toby?
Hello, friend. Josh, I have a question for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
When you do your introduction,
Yeah.
how much thought do you have to put into saying the Kamen Riders as slow and as syllabically as possible?
Well, I don't put a lot of thought into it because I'm that much of a professional, Toby.
Okay.
No, that was naming the show that. The decision early on was that I have to enunciate that it's Kamen Riders every time we say it. So I guess, yeah, the thinking about it was front loaded in recording these episodes, and
Perfect.
now I'm just used to doing it that way.
Okay, because I was thinking about it. Like, whenever you say it, you're like always very good about being like the Kamen Riders. And I know with how fast I talk and my mumbly mouth, I'd be like, "Hey, it's the Kamen Riders." I would just assume people would know that there was some extra letters in there.
Toby and Josh, the Kamen Riders. Are you sure that's it? Close enough.
Let's keep rolling.
Yeah, I had another round of not hating the name, but thinking about the name a lot again as I was making our website, which is now live. If you want to check out commentwriters.com, you can see that. But that was, again, a lot of like typing the name over and over again and seeing it and just like editing pictures with it in it and stuff. So it was probably extra fresh in my mind that it was comment and not common.
Do you think bands get tired of their names when they see it all the time?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Like I'm typing in like Newfound Glory again. I'm like, why the fuck did we name ourselves this? Like that kind of vibe.
Like, I get tired of bands that I like's name in that same way. I'm just like seeing it over and over again. Like if I get on a real kick, like I go on like a Newfound Glory kick probably like once a year where like it's kind of all I listen to for like a month. And I get tired of their name in that month. So they definitely get tired of it, for sure.
I like how all of a sudden we've decided we're going to bully them.
No, they're great. They're a fantastic band and great people as far as I'm aware. But it's just any name. Like if your name is Imagine Dragons, you don't think that like 2 seconds into being named that, you think it's the dumbest name ever. Of course you would. It's Imagine Dragons.
But Imagine Dragons, Josh.
Just imagine Dragons.
It's more of a thought exercise than a band name.
I think it really is. It truly is. I don't think you can pick out a band name that isn't very easy to see how it would get lame the more you think about it.
I feel like a lot of the good band names are the ones that are entirely too long.
Yeah, like The World is a Beautiful Place That I'm Not Afraid to Die, or whatever that band is.
Yeah, that's a good one. There was another really good one I said on my tip of my tongue, and now I forgot.
You know what the worst, maybe the all-time worst band name is? This is going to be controversial. Are you ready?
Wait. I'm trying to think of one real quick. I don't know. Go ahead.
The Beatles. It's a bad pun. That's all the Beatles is. It's just a bad pun.
Did you ever see one of my favorite movies of all time, That Thing You Do?
No.
Okay. So you need to watch it, A. But B, they do the same thing with Beatles, but they do a different name. But it's basically the same vibe. And there's like the whole thing is basically like mocking the Beatles and the Monkees and like that generation of boy bands. Like when boy bands were like emo haircutted boys in the 60s.
At least the Monkees were a joke band from the start. Like they were intending it to be a joke.
And then they became the greatest band ever.
Yeah, they're better than the Beatles, that's for sure.
Peter somebody. I was gonna say Peter Criss, but that's Kiss.
Yeah, I definitely know that name. I don't think I know any of the members of the Beatles.
No, I meant
not of the Beatles, of the Monkees. I meant Monkees. I still had Beatles on the mind. I do know members of the Beatles.
Peter Tork, that's who I was thinking of.
I only know Peter Criss because of that that one song from oh crap, there's a punk band where they talk about Peter Criss. I can't think of their name now.
He's the cat.
Yeah.
What the fuck song is that?
You know what I'm talking about though?
I know that's the reason I got it, because it's like blah 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 blah, and Peter Criss, he's the cat.
Oh, we might be talking about different songs even. All right, now I gotta Google this. All right, so the band that I'm thinking of is the Teenage Bottle Rockets.
I know who that is.
Yeah, they have a song where they reference Peter Criss.
Okay.
And that's the only reason that I know his name.
I know them. I don't know that song. But there's a different Kiss joke punk band song from a pop punk band where they kind of rattle them all off, or it's maybe like 80s themed or whatever.
Okay.
And the last lyric is, and Peter Criss, he's the cat.
Oh, that's even better. It tells you which one he is. That's great. Man, like I feel like our generation of bands, like our parents had no right to dislike any of the music we were listening to when they grew up on stuff like Kiss. Like the Kiss music's fine. Then you look at Kiss and you're like, what were you people doing? Like what?
Lots of drugs.
And the fact that we now have like 60-year-olds who unironically still think Kiss are really cool is just the wildest thing. Like,
I mean, if you ever gone to like any sort of convention, I feel like our generation is not much better with certain things.
no, we've all got our problems, but like, I'm just saying, you have the 60-year-olds who will look down upon things that our generation likes, but then are really into a dude in cat makeup. This is weird. Do you remember the story where they did a comic book and like put their blood in the comic ink?
I do. That was one of the first times they did it, and then I feel like assorted other bands and movies also then did the same thing.
Yeah, like mixed blood and the stuff. At least that's metal. I feel like painting your face like a cat is like that's not metal.
Do you know the other ones?
Thing to do. What are the other ones?
No, I'm just asking. Do you know the other Kiss faces?
No, I don't.
I think...
Wait, hang on. I might. There's a star. There's a guy who's like stars on his face, right?
Yeah, that's the only other one I know.
Starman or something. Gene Simmons is just like a monster, I think. Is that right?
I'm just letting you go at this point.
I'm gonna look up Kiss and we're gonna figure it out. Okay. The members of Kiss, stylized as KISS, with the S's are like the
lightning bolts. Yeah,
lightning bolt things. So Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, Ace Frehley, and Peter Criss, and they are.
He's the cat.
He's the cat. So Star Child is Paul Stanley, and yeah, so Gene Simmons is just a demon. He's the demon. The Spaceman is Ace Frehley, and Catman is Peter Criss. So a star guy, a space guy. That feels like there's some overlap there. I don't know that we needed both. And then a cat and a demon. One of these, Toby, is a little out of place.
It's also like when you look up like a movie and it says like Spaceman #1, Spaceman #2 when they have like a role but not really, and they're just there.
Exactly. Looking at their pictures now, and honestly, gun to my head, I would not be able to tell the difference between the Starman and the Spaceman because, Toby, they both just have stars over their eyeballs. There's no difference.
No.
In fact, the demon also kind of just has things that look sort of like stars over his eyes.
It looks like upside down bat wings. Don't be an idiot.
They are. Yeah, you're right. They are. But still, Starman and Star Child or Space Child or Spaceman or whatever their stupid names are, they both just have stars over their eyes. This is ridiculous.
And this has been your Kiss Minute.
All right, now I'm upset talking about Kiss. Got all worked up. Toby, how was your Christmas?
Pretty good. How was yours?
It was good. I didn't talk about Kiss one time until now. Now it's ruined.
It's funny. It's funny because with all the spaceman talk, I got a telescope for Christmas, so that fits right into this vibe.
Oh, nice. Have you looked at anything far away yet?
No, it has not yet been assembled, but it needs to be.
How do you get something for Christmas and not put it together yet?
Because our Christmases are so crazy with running around with a family and other things that like today was probably like the first down day, and we are 3 days past like the Christmas break.
So your telescope, was it a thing that you had asked for and were looking forward to, or was it like a surprise thing? Like,
It was a sweet surprise.
okay. Are you into space? Do you wear a star over your eye and sing in a band?
And I think that's also a David Bowie song.
Yeah, it's true.
Starman.
Ground control to Major Toby.
We're something off the ledge.
Are you a space fanatic?
Sure.
Do you like planets and stuff?
Like Uranus.
Damn, you knew where I was working up to.
I broke Josh. What is this? 10 minutes in?
Building up to an elaborate Uranus joke. I also was feeling a little bit like your grandma or something. No, hey, Sonny, you like planets? You like them planets? What's your favorite planet? Toby, unrelated to anything. I got to
That's this whole thing so far.
That's true. I got to unironically say how you like them apples the other day to my daughter, and that was incredible. Because she was eating apples. And I said, "Oh, how you like them apples?" And she said, "They're good."
Did you like secretly like snicker on the inside? And you were like,
I did.
I got her.
I did.
I got her that little shit.
I've been saying how you like them apples to people since I saw Good Will Hunting, and it almost never works. And the fact that I got to do it this time, and it was actually relevant, it was pretty amazing. Yeah.
We're off to a great start today.
My Christmas was also good. No, yeah, it was. We just had a nice little Christmas. I took some extra time off work too, which is good. So I have been just being a complete deadbeat, playing Sonic Frontiers lately. That's what I've been up to.
I heard that was a good one.
It's shockingly
people say
good.
That's actually like way better than like the rest have been for years.
Yeah, like I'm not a Sonic fan. I think I was telling you the other day, I made fun of Big the Cat on Tumblr, and that was a mistake. People really like Big the Cat.
You never make fun of any sort of anthropomorphized person.
Anthropomorphized.
See,
yeah,
and I fucked
there
you
we
up.
go. We got it.
But yeah, on the internet, never make fun of those things. Animals that are living beings that talk. Oh, danger zone.
Well, my point was like, you shouldn't mess with someone who is a fan of Big the Cat because they have nothing else to lose. Like, what if you like Big the Cat? Like, you're at rock bottom. There's no place else to go. Like, well, I'm not gonna mess with you. There's no reason. But anyway, Big the Cat's in this game. He handles the fishing minigame, Toby.
That seems about right. Cats love fish, man. That just seems
up his speed. Yeah, it's right up his alley. But no, the game is really good. I'm not a huge Sonic fan. Like I casually like Sonic. Like Sonic 2 was fantastic. Sonic 3 was all right. Those were the good Sonic games, and everything else pretty much past that was kind of bad. Those are my Sonic opinions. This game really good. I'm really surprised how much I'm liking it. Because I'd heard like kind of mixed things, and kind of the open world nature of it was intriguing to me. But yeah, it really has hooked me. So anyway, that's fun.
So Big the Cat hooked you?
Big the Cat hooked me. That's right.
While you was fishing?
Let me tell you about Big the Cat for a second. Do you know much about Big the Cat?
I know that he's a big cat.
He is a big cat, so yeah. He talks as if he is like a country bumpkin, and he speaks so slowly. Like, I dare anyone to let him get to the end of his voice line before you click next, because it feels like you're going to die with each line. It's like, "Hi, Sonic, would you like to do some fishing?" And you've already died 5 times in the middle of that line. It's the worst. Big the Cat is not
the worst.
A good character. I'm glad he's relegated off to a separate screen, and all that he does is give me things for fish. That's all it is. He's like, "You want to go fishing?" And I say yes. And then he trades me things for the fish that I catch. That's it. That's all we do. I don't have to watch.
The best business transactions.
Yeah, I don't have to watch cutscenes with Big the Cat in it or anything like that. It's bad enough I have to watch cutscenes with Knuckles in it, But Big the Cat, that's where I draw the line.
I feel like you're firing off on all cylinders today.
I'm ready. All right, we got some emails, Toby. Let's jump into an email. If you want to send us an email, you can do that. Send it to cast@commonridersucks.com. Our email that we have for this week is from our good friend Kieran. So Kieran has listened to and watched things that you and I have done for a very long time. So good to hear from him again.
Real quick, before you read the email, the best Kieran fact is the other day when he told us that he found us only because he wanted to watch Power Rangers RPM. And he was like, why are these two assholes talking over the TV show?
Yeah, we always joked
and now he's listened to us forever.
Yeah. We always joked about that as a concept of someone like just wanting to watch the show and then like begrudgingly liking us after they do it. And that's literally how he found us and how he kept listening. So Kieran says, just like old times, sending you guys emails. First things first, Toby was actually right about something.
Nailed it.
Ryuki is in Geats' movie alongside Revis, or Revice, to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the show. Though he did fail to bring a pun, so I'm very disappointed. So first of all, yes, you have been slacking in the pun name department.
Yeah, I retired that gimmick. It got too hard.
All right. Well, I'm sure someone had some bets out there for how long that was going to last. Whoever had under 10.
So only because it's in my little notepad here. So there was, I would say, 4 better episode names. And then there was 5 or 6 me just making stupid puns or jokes out of the names.
Yeah. Very quickly.
And then last week I didn't do it at all. And going forward, I probably won't do it anymore either.
Because we forgot. So yeah, we talked about last time, the Ryuki sort of battle royale concept is kind of what Geats is doing as well. Like there's definitely some inspiration there. And yeah, the Ryuki is in the movie too. So that there is some tie-in there. Kieran says on the Sentai Rider crossover topic, we were talking about that in terms of like movies. Kieran says there were a string of spring movies 5 to 10 years ago called Superhero Tyson that were just giant team-ups of both franchises, usually promoted with a crossover event in the show, which is actually what got Kieran started watching Kamen Rider. One movie even threw in a hybrid team, Kamen Sentai Go Rider, which were basically the original Rider and Sentai suits mashed together. That sounds awesome. I'll have to go look that up. Also, a Rider has appeared in Power Rangers. Black RX was in the first 3 episodes of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3 as a setup for the Masked Rider TV show. So yeah, they so Saban at the height of Power Rangers mania attempted to actually bring Kamen Rider over. They translated it to Masked Rider, which is just what the word common means. But yeah, they brought over Kamen Rider. It wasn't a success. It didn't hit off like Power Rangers did. But they did like a little bit of an overlap there to kind of spin the show off. So yeah, the Kamen Rider Black RX like suit and stuff was in Power Rangers. Kieran goes on to say that on Geats itself, I have to say, Josh, you picked a perfect time to introduce Toby to Kamen Rider. So far, it's shaping up to be my favorite series so far, and I've watched a few, every show from W onwards. One last little.
Do you know what that means? W honors?
Yeah, that's a season of Kamen Rider.
I mean, I figured, but is that like a couple
like
ago?
A decade ago or so. Yeah, okay. That'd be like 10 years ago at this point, or 12, maybe more. Time is a meaningless construct. It's a good long time. So I think it was the season after Decade. So yeah, roughly 11 years or so ago. I'm thinking now.
Okay. You can continue.
One last bit of useless information. The Giamato are partially based on chess pieces. The grunts have rounded heads like pawns. There was the horse-headed Knight Giamato, and more recent episodes have Rook and Bishop Giamato showing up. I'm expecting there to be the king and queen at some stage, possibly the final bosses, but who knows with this show. I'm tired of typing now. I'm just finished by saying Merry Geatsmas and a happy neon year.
That was horrible. Kieran, you're fired.
Kieran bringing some puns. I mean, certainly, at least at the caliber of what you were bringing us. There for
no, that's at least a step down. Because if he comes at my caliber, then I'm gonna get replaced, and that's just bullshit. So
having none of it. So Kieran, thanks for the email. Awesome to hear from you again. And yeah, thanks for the info there. I'm excited about the movies and getting to the point where we can actually see them and read the English words on the screen when they happen. Because I'm liking Geats so much. I want more. I want more content. Speaking of more content, Toby, this week we watched Kamen Rider Geats episode 13. We are
lucky number 13.
Already up to 13. And yeah, let's dive right in here. So first up, Sumi is still doing her narration at the beginning. They continue to be hilarious as she's like narrating about Geats being betrayed. It's like, you were kind of a part of that. You had insider information about it. You're narrating about it now. It's just very funny that she is doing the in-world kind of out-of-world narration at the beginning.
And even better is the fact that since they're still playing family, like after she does her little recording, she just turns around and like looks like she's basically sitting outside and looks into the living room. And Geats is like, yeah, so why are you guys doing this to me again?
Yeah, what is this?
she's like doing a weird, odd fourth wall break that I guess isn't really supposed to be addressed, but Geats can hear it anyway. So it's like if someone like broke the fourth wall in like any other media, and someone else was like, "Who are you talking to? I hear you."
What are we doing? I like that he addresses it. That is fun. Like, this what? Did you really hate me that much?
You.
Yeah. Geats continues to kind of question sort of why he's being targeted here by the Game Master. He says, "I've saved the world countless times. What doesn't the Game Master like about that?" Which is, a valid point. Sumi also is questioning kind of why eliminate Geats. The Game Master says that Geats is, quote, digging through our secrets, which is interesting.
They have lots of them.
Why do you have secrets to hide if your goal is just to save the world?
If your world-changing game is on the up and up, why do you have secrets?
Exactly. Speaking of one of those secrets, we then see the Game Master call the dude over in the greenhouse, our good friend over in the greenhouse, and he demands to know why he's letting the Giamato use drivers. The guy in the greenhouse says that they learned it on their own. They're smart, and they picked it up. And then he says, "Plus, it's more fun this way, right?"
I love that they think like, and the way that he worded that comment. It's just funny to me that like the whole vibe of this is it's supposed to be fun. Like, is that actually like what they're doing? They're like, hey, we have a fun game. We'll grant wishes and let people almost die.
Yeah, it certainly, that seemed like the vibe was like playing it for entertainment. Yeah, like, oh, this makes it more entertaining. This is more fun. It's a game. Come on. The Game Master says that's not your call. So we have some infighting here. I'm really interested still in the greenhouse guy and all what's going on there. So the idea that the Giamato like picked up the drivers on their own is kind of fascinating. Hopefully we'll learn more about that. Ace is having a photo shoot. Next up, Toby. And there's a really, really weird exchange. So this girl just sort of like walks up to Ace as he's on a break. And he calls it a destined meeting. She says, "I would like to support you by any means necessary." And then he goes, "What?" I literally had to run it back and like try to transcribe out like what the noise that he made, because it was like this slack jaw, like, oh, oh, really? So we don't know what she's about yet, but spoiler alert, we find out at least vaguely who she works for later on in the episode.
And I'm actually impressed that for the vagueness of her entrance. Like we talked about it last week. It might have been on the episode. It might have been you and I talking afterwards. I'm glad they did another one of the instant payoffs and not me guessing who this lovely young lady is who's talking to Geats.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like you'll find out in 2 months and be like, wait, I fucking forget all this. It was like, yeah, this is what we meant earlier. You're welcome.
For sure. Yeah. This is a great example of that thing. Yeah. We were talking about last time of like, they set a thing up that you feel like is going to last for a long time. Like, who is this woman? What's going on? And then they instantly pay it off. And that doesn't feel like a letdown. It like feels extra exciting. Like, oh my God, I didn't feel like I was supposed to have that information yet. And here it is. So very, very cool they're doing that. Keiwa got hired at the soba shop, his like favorite soba shop that he goes to. And this is a whole weird thing. So he works at the soba shop, but the guy is like, just work here until you find something better. Like, first of all, that's a little bit of a bummer. Like, this is not a good enough place to work. And then later, I think like Sarah's even like praying for Keiwa to find a job. I was like, what is wrong with this soba shop that no one wants him to work here?
That's no career, man. Come on.
Apparently, like
if he's not running the shop, that's no career. He's supposed to bring world peace with his job interviews. He can't be just dishing noodles out.
Listen, I like Keiwa. He's a great guy. Nothing against Keiwa. This job kind of feels like his speed to me. You know, like nothing stressful. You don't have to do too much. It's a nice, quiet, sleepy soba shop. While we're at the soba shop, we start to get sort of the development of the episode. So like kind of the thing that kicks off this next game. And we see it happen to each of the riders kind of in turn. What it is they all catch sight of a little girl in a red hat.
It's like The Grudge.
Yeah, it is very like horror movie-esque, where she's just, you can't see her face. She's just kind of standing there. They see her, and as they all see her, they drop their ID cord. So like they lose their ID cord, it falls out of their hand. So Keiwa sees her, runs out of the shop, drops his ID cord. Neon is kind of quizzing her dad about the Desire Grand Prix.
Are you a serial killer? I think I saw you in a horror movie once.
She says, why'd you make me participate again? He says, some things are best left unsaid. Neon tries to leave, and in the midst of this is where she sees the red hat girl. She drops her ID core. Buffa likewise drops his. Ace also drops his. Ace also notices that his driver is stolen at this time. It's gone. He's missing his driver. He takes it back from the red hat girl. She had taken it. And as he does that, the Giamato show up. And Ace fights him. He transforms, all that crazy stuff. So in the midst of this, the red hat girl kind of like steals the driver back. The Giamato gets it. And then the red hat girl also takes Punk Jack's driver. There's just lots of like back and forth basically with the drivers and the red hat girl and kind of the Giamato.
One of Geats' best lines, at least in his stealing of the things, is the second time she steals his driver. He just calmly looks at her and says, "Are you a magician, young lady?"
Some of my favorite Ace interactions are like him with kids in the show. Are you a magician, young lady?
Like obviously bad shit's happening, and he's just so nice and mellow with them. We're like, this girl's stealing his shit, and he's just like, "Are you doing tricks?"
He's great. Yeah, it's always like the uber cool. World's about to end. Horrible things are happening to me, but like, no, I'm still good. It's fine. I probably have some tricks up my sleeve. Even if I don't, I'm gonna pretend like I do.
I have that plot armor. It's fantastic. And real quick, before we get too far past it,
yeah.
With Neon and her dad and him sneaking her back in the game, my new prediction for the show is that her dad gets her in the games so that she can win. So that the company that we've kind of established is running this.
The Kurama Corporation.
This is going to be some like redemption arc where he's going to have her win so that she can fix the company from evil to good.
or maybe he wants his evil corporation to gain more power by his daughter winning or something.
Either no, I'm going with the happy one. This
You
is
don't
like
think he's evil? I think he's definitely evil.
I think he looks so evil that they have to swerve it and make him a good guy. So
Okay,
he's going for his redemption arc through his daughter.
that might be it. Yeah, he's so comically evil looking that yes, it's a little too on the nose if he turns out to be evil. Maybe. Everybody, of course, shows back up at the platform. Everybody's gotten their driver stolen at this point. No more drivers left. And we find out that the game for this round is musical chairs, which is fantastic.
It's fantastic, and it goes into my request of, can we find different games? I find the fact that we're playing musical chairs quite odd, but I guess we'll roll with it.
Yeah, at least it's like a unique thing. It's different than we've seen before. Sumi explains that the 5 buckles are stolen. 1 is in use by a Giamato rider already. So 4 of them are still out there in the world. So there's our one down chair, basically, for musical chairs. This is where we see Sarah praying for Keiwa. the soba shop apparently isn't good enough. And then now, Punk Jack confronts Ace in the hideout. And it seems like Haruruya is trying to like get something out of Ace, trying to find out information. Then moving on from there, Neon has a really great idea, I think, about this game. So they're trying to find the location of their drivers. They're trying to find this girl in a red hat. Neon like sticks all of her Twitch followers on tracking down this red hat girl. She's like, guys, help me out. I'm looking for this girl in a red hat. Let me know where she is.
See, I actually wrote that down too. That was like a hell of a genius move.
It's great. Yeah, it's like it's a perfect Neon thing. Like, you know, hey, I've got all of these people at my disposal. Might as well use them.
So it's funny. So as always, I try to go through and slowly rewatch the episodes as we talk about them. At least in our translation, when she's running Neon TV, some of the comments here say, "As cute as ever today. Love your hair. If it's you, I'll do anything." And one is, been a while since Neon TV without her running away.
The show's just not the same as it used to be.
Attempt 51's been canceled.
Turns out I'm staying home. No more escape attempts. But Sarah is actually the person who sees the red hat girl and tells Neon and tells Keiwa as well. And yeah, Sarah gets to like link everybody in. The Giamato get 2 more drivers from the red hat girl. At this point, it seems pretty clear that the girl in the red hat is like in cahoots with the Giamato. Like, I think that was clear from the beginning, but like at this point, she's basically just kind of handing him over. And Keiwa rushes in, kind of fights him off. There's some really cool moments here with Keiwa where he's obviously not transformed since he doesn't have a driver, and he's just like doing everything he can, like pure desperation, to like knock back the Giamato, and tries to, you know, he gets the drivers back. So that's really exciting. He gets the drivers back and he does all this like without being transformed.
Yeah, like that was one of the things that I noted. Like him raging without his driver and just full bore running in at like 8 or 10 Jumoto for no reason. Like with having no powers is way different past the OG Keiwa we knew, who was kind of a baby and didn't know what to do with himself.
Exactly. He kind of did that at the tail end of like the Resident Evil game too. Like when he went out to get his buckle when he rejoined the game, was just like plowing through Giamato to get to where he needed to go. And yeah, you're totally right. Like crazy juxtaposition to a guy who wouldn't even attack anything at the very beginning. He's like, nope, I'm gonna jump in. Don't have powers. Don't care. Gonna keep this from happening. We do a lot of fighting here, so there's a lot of back and forth. I think the notable thing probably in all this is that at this point, the Game Master is just openly gloating about Geats not having a driver. Just like not even pretending to hide the fact that he is, you know, completely against Geats and very excited that Geats is looking like he might be eliminated.
I think the main takeaway of this segment is Buffa's outfit, which is like neon orange camouflage pants with a neon blue vest.
He's a fashion forward type of guy. Um, one thing Kamen Rider doesn't do, which is both good and bad, but like Power Rangers and Sentai, like a lot of times they'll dress in their colors. So it's kind of a shame sometimes that Buffa is not always just dressed in like purple and orange everything.
I guess this was probably the closest, but yeah, they definitely wear more normal dress, like day-to-day clothes, other than
Actual
Geats, who's
human
always
clothes.
like Geats always looks like he's going to prom.
He does kind of, yeah. He always is
But the rest of them
he's
are
a fancy boy. When you're the star of the star of the stars, you have to dress the part, Toby.
I guess that's true. You can't be looking like a slacker.
Exactly. So Keiwa, of course, is like trying to work together with everyone, sharing buckles and drivers that they find and stuff. Buffa takes offense to that. He yells at Keiwa about it. He says, "We're rivals, don't you get it?" And I really liked this exchange. So both Neon and Keiwa kind of like rebuff Buffa to turn it into a pun here. Neon says, "Why shouldn't we help each other? Like, if you get eliminated, there's always another chance. But if the Giamato get you, you die." So,
Right.
yeah, let's make sure that we don't die. Keiwa tells Buffa, "You should look more to those around you." So I thought it was neat, like in the past and in the fairly recent past, Keiwa has still sort of like shied away from Buffa, and now at this point he's like telling him off, kind of like, no, like I'm gonna I'm gonna help everybody, and you should too. Like, it's stupid.
Yeah, it's just funny. Like Buffa obviously doesn't know how to handle having friends or people that remotely care about him.
Yeah,
And Keiwa, this whole episode, and presumably going forward more so, like he's just pedal to the metal. I'm handling all the business now. Like I'm rushing in with no morph. I'm telling Buffa to pull his head out of his ass and be a team player.
in a lot of ways, Keiwa is the exact opposite of Geats now at this point, where like Geats will hang back, he'll wait to henshin, he'll make sure he has like 18 plans before anything happens, and Keiwa is like the first one to run in, doesn't even henshin yet before he starts fighting, has zero plan other than the world needs saving and I'm going to do it. They are complete opposites of each other, and yeah, I think probably intentional. Even Ace agrees here, though. He says people can't survive without being supported by others.
So I think that's Geats realizing that obviously, I think why he's hanging back more as well. He's realizing that like if the whole game is going to be geared against him at this point, like he appreciates the fact that like KY and Neon mainly are always like, no man, we're cool. Like we'll do this together. And I think he realizes more now, like I can't just fly solo all the time, or I'm probably fucked.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, he's it might still be sort of like tactical advantage of having friends. He's realized, but like yeah, he definitely has realized that he can't do this alone. He can't face off against like an openly antagonistic writer and I guess two openly antagonistic writers at this point against him, and the entire DGP against him without a little bit of help. We do some more fighting here. The Giamato writer shows back up.
I want to point out that Keiwa did his medium speed henshin.
Exactly. Yeah, we watched a little video. It was a Q&A with the actors of the show, and they were talking, and they were kind of demonstrating their henshin motions, and they were like poking fun at Keiwa's actor about how involved and fast his henshin is, and it was so incredibly endearing. It was very fun seeing them like be such good friends with each other.
Well, yeah, like they're all joking around, and like I think his normal henshin is like his like extended one, we'll call it, because they all apparently have extended and shortened ones.
Mm-hmm.
So his extended one felt like 6-7 seconds of like martial arts gesturing, and then they're like, "Now do your abridged one," and he does his whole exact normal thing again, but just at like 3 times speed.
Just faster, yeah.
And they all just start laughing hysterically, and they're like, no, abbreviate doesn't mean just go faster, it means make it just shorter. And they all just giggle together. Like it's a Sumi and then the 4 main characters minus Punk Jack, and they're all just like teasing Keiwa like, dude, you're crazy. So then they ask Sumi to rate whose henshin is the best, and she just laughs and goes, it's not really a competition, basically.
Yeah, like obviously his. The great thing too is like Keiwa's actor has this really complicated like henshin that's like super involved, and it's like it's kind of like very like it's overtly self-confident visually, right? Like he's doing all this crazy stuff, but the actor leads up to it with like asking someone off camera, so should I do the full one? Should I do it right now? Like he has this really timid like, so should I do it? Do it? Okay, all right.
If you say so, it's fine.
And it's just great. Yeah, very very fun. That little like Q&A thing, just like the 2-minute little snippet that we got there, was so much fun. Like I hope that whole thing gets translated. I have no idea how long it is, but like that little translated part was really really fun. Yeah, very cool stuff. That's one of the things that I think we missed the most out on. Obviously, not being in Japan and not speaking Japanese is some of the like behind the scenes and like interviews and stuff. I've translated some of the like interviews that show up on the Kamen Rider like official website, where they ask the actors like questions like, oh, what's your favorite scene so far, and stuff like that. And like those are really fun and really interesting about what everybody likes. That yeah, I wish we had easier access to that stuff sometimes. Haruya Win, Punk Jack, is excited that Geats is getting beat up, obviously, since that's sort of his goal. In the middle of this fight, the kind of big development here is we kind of cut away and we see the girl from earlier again. We talked about the payoff was coming. So that girl from earlier is sort of the assistant, we'll say, of this fancy guy. He's a guy sitting at a table. He's kind of dressed in a suit. Definitely looks like he's money of some kind, right? He kind of motions, and the girl uses the tablet, a tablet in her hand. She kind of swipes on it and sends out a new buckle, the Command Twin buckle. The game master says, like, that item shouldn't even be in rotation. So Geats gets it. He doesn't super really know how to use it. When he kind of puts it in, he gets this antenna on his head. That's kind of all that it does, and he gets a sword with it as well. So the sword is the raising sword. It has a buckle attached to it in addition to the one that he put on his driver, but it won't come off. But it doesn't really matter because the sword by itself is kind of insane, and Geats just sort of like, he just kicks ass with it, basically.
He does work. And the crazy thing is, for some reason, the opening song plays again over this entire thing with lyrics and all.
Yeah. That was surprising. It turned it into like an anime like music video or something. The other interesting part of this, so leading into that big, opening credits like fight sequence thing that we got, Ace of course didn't have a driver before this, so he had to ask Keiwa to borrow his driver. He's like, I need it for like 5 minutes. Just give it to me for 5 minutes, and I'll steal back the buckle the Giamato has, and then if it works, you can have it and my buckles. Like you can have everything.
And it's funny to me because Geats in general, he usually says things so people help him, and there's usually a downfall to it. Like at the end, he's kind of like, tee hee hee, you trusted me. But this time he's actually just a good guy.
And this was the first time, I think, where he was the most on the back foot, kind of, where it's like the times he's done it to Keiwa, like he's needed Keiwa to do the thing, but it's been way more of a like, I'm the puppet master pulling the strings. And this one is more like, I need Keiwa to give me this buckle, but because like if he doesn't, I'm probably just eliminated. So yeah, he definitely played this one very upfront. And of course, at the end, after he kind of gets the buckle back, he hands it all over. Like there's no catch, there's not anything sort of gotcha about it. He gives it all back to Kwa. Now, he figures out how the buckle works in the midst of this kind of big fight scene. So first he just has the sword. The sword's going all crazy. And eventually he charges it up enough. The sword gets kind of a full charge. Then the buckle comes off the sword. He puts it on his driver, and then it's like the complete, it says jet and cannon. So that's the full package. And when he does the, big double transformation, he turns into essentially a mech. Like he just looks like a mech. He's got these like big metal pieces all over him. He kind of like, he looks very much like a Gundam style mech. It really was the first thing that came to mind for me.
So like I have that the jet can armor is the most mech Gundam Evangelion thing ever. So you hit two of my three adjectives there as you were going.
It's like a mix between like Gundam and a fighter pilot, kind of, because it has the visor that you would see on like a fighter pilot helmet, and kind of like the heads up display a little bit and stuff too when they're like aiming their missiles. But yeah, he's like got big shoulder attachments with like big missiles that come out of it and stuff. It's very cool looking. I think just the sword version, so when he first gets it before he charges it all up, when it's just the head antenna, like that looks okay. It's a little plain, but then when he does like the full charge up transformation, it's very cool. It's over the top and like ridiculous, but again, like in a really fun way. I think the only downside of it for me is like every time this buckle comes out again, they're gonna have to go through that charge up process again. Where it's not gonna be like the monster buckle now, where it's just like, no, I'm just gonna pop right into it, gonna have all the stuff on, like it's gonna be good. It's always gonna be this big drawn out thing.
Well, especially because of how flashy it was too. Like it's probably the flashiest of all the suits we've seen with the attack actions and everything. So it's one of those things where like I don't want to keep seeing it all the time. Like if I know it's going to be this OP and just destroys everything, like I don't necessarily need that to always be like the ending, like we're calling Megazord vibe.
It does feel like it could be that, because you're totally right. It is like super OP, like wipes out the enemy in one hit. It feels very like Megazord Final Slash type thing for sure.
And then when they did they do the visor stuff again with it, again, this is since we get the fancy translations for us. Apparently, in the visor, it gives a running tally of everything that happens. So like it's doing little status updates. It says like the one line says you attack the Giamoto, and the next line says you dodge the Giamoto's attack. So it's almost like playing a text-based RPG back in the day, where it's just doing like it's like logging all the actions that happen.
Yeah, or it's like playing Pokemon, where it's like, the attack.
This is super effective.
Super effective, yeah. That's great. So Ace hands over the driver, as we said, hands over, his pile of buckles. It was very much with Kayla, like, why can't I hold all these buckles? It's a lot.
My hands are full of things.
Yeah. Of course, the Giamato had just gotten blown away, dropped the driver. You think Ace is going to pick it up, but no. Buffa gets there first, grabs it. Ace, had left it laying there on the ground. Buffa says, "This belongs to me, actually." So Ace ends up without a buckle after all.
But smirks.
But he smirks about it. Yeah. He definitely smirks about it. Then we cut away to the game master, who angrily calls the kind of fancy guy earlier that was sitting at the table who gave the command twin a buckle, and says, like, why did you send him that buckle? It was you, wasn't it? And then the fancy guy says, a game master getting involved in a game, if that's not a farce, I don't know what is. And the game master ends up telling him, stay in your lane. So again, these two not getting along. The game master and the guy in the greenhouse not really seeing eye to eye either. So there's a lot of friction in the Desire Grand Prix infrastructure, we'll say, in the organization.
So even if like we'll call it like three warring factions, if we're going to throw Neon's dad in, that would be that's fourth. One too.
Yeah.
And then obviously the kids that are playing, if they realize it's all a scam, that's five, right? in theory. We could call
Yeah,
that a fifth.
sure. Yeah,
That was
there's a
all.
yeah.
That's all
That's all I counted. I counted some numbers. Yeah, there's a lot. Uh, there are a lot of parties involved here, that could potentially be good or could potentially be bad or could potentially be like weirdly neutral or like have things that they want to achieve that aren't really like related to the game in any way. Like, why would a corporation be involved? Like, maybe it's like tangential to even what's happening in the game. Who knows? Maybe it's some weird like, you know, oh, we supply the driver technology and it's a big contract for us or something like that. It could be something weird.
It's like that damn government shit, like Lockheed Martin.
Yeah, exactly. We have the exclusive contract. um, but yeah, clearly the game master sort of putting his thumb on the scale, as we talked about, trying to eliminate Geats is rubbing some people the wrong way who are in the know about the Desire Grand Prix. To finish out the episode, the girl in the red hat hands over 2 more drivers. So there's 2 more down, 2 more of the musical chairs, basically, that the Giamato are now in control of. And the episode ends. Ace doesn't have a driver. Haruya doesn't have a driver. So it's looking like Geats and Punkjack are setting up to be eliminated.
Oh
So,
no.
big cliffhanger ending. So, what are your thoughts on episode 13, Toby?
It's funny because it's a good setup, obviously, into the next episode. But it's funny that, like, I know Punkjack is supposed to be the helper, but he's currently on the course where he's getting killed too. Like, it seems like counterproductive. Like, I know he's the wacky, sassy guy, but he doesn't seem like the type that just wants to like take the loss like that. So
Yeah, I
I'm
guess
kind of surprised he's in the position he's in at this point.
Yeah, I guess as far as the game master is concerned, like, it doesn't matter as long as Geats is gone. It doesn't really matter after that. That was his goal. But yeah, Punkjack is going to be going out with him, is what it's looking like. Which doesn't seem like it would sit too well with him, but we'll see. Maybe he's got a trick up his sleeve. Yeah, this felt like a kind of, it was a good episode, but it felt like an episode sort of like bridging 2 gaps, kind of. I guess any of the episodes where like around starts and ends kind of on a cliffhanger is kind of like this, where you get some setup, get some interesting things happening, but you're just like waiting for that next episode where things can fully flesh out and kind of fully resolve.
That's how they hook you, man.
It really is, yeah. But I'm really interested in now, like, the DGP workings and like who this new guy is and what his whole deal is going to be.
We like out of nowhere. So we're 13 episodes in, about a third through, we'll call it. And now there's like a whole like secondary good/evil force that's double interfering, where they're like, the game master shouldn't be interfering, so we're also going to interfere.
Yeah,
Like, it's just like layers upon layers.
And I think my prediction is I think Geats is gonna know more about them than he's letting on, because like, he met that girl, so clearly he got looped in on some aspect of it, right? Like he got told something, and it may have just been as simple as, we're going to send you a buckle, but it could have been more. So like, maybe they told him a bunch about the game, and now he's just gonna kind of confirm as we go on. He might have a lot more knowledge. So I think maybe that's what we're gonna find out as we go on, is like, Ace sort of was actually more steps ahead than we realized because of that.
Yeah, because like the wording in that scene was, he was like, this is quite the convenient run-in, basically.
Yeah.
And obviously we didn't know who she was, but he knew her well enough to be like, I'm glad to see you because I need you, kind of vibe.
Yeah, he definitely knew who she was as she showed up, which is interesting. Obviously, he's played the game for a very long time, so maybe he's interacted with her in some way in the past or something, but definitely he knew. So I think, yeah, there's definitely still more than meets the eye to Ace for sure.
Geats formers, more than meets the eye. That's how it's done, Kieran. Fuck you.
Mic drop.
End the episode early.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us for Kamen Rider Geats episode 13 for our
Wait, no.
episode 13.
Transformers, more than Geats the eye. God damn it. There we go.
That's way better. Really
Mic
glad.
drop.
Really glad you went back and punched that up. That was going to be one of those where, like, I wake up in the middle of the night and be like, nope, it was this.
It didn't work. You dumb shit.
Yeah, thanks for listening. If you want to check out all of our past episodes, you can either do that on YouTube, go to KamenRiderSucks.com to go to the YouTube playlist. You can find all the episodes there, or you can listen to it in podcast form. So just search for The Kamen Riders on your favorite podcast app, and you can listen to all the audio episodes there as well. You can also check out Toby and I on the internet. Where can people find you on the internet, Toby?
On Twitter, it's at Life of Tobes, Tobes, and on YouTube at Tobes Plays.
Awesome. You can find me on both Twitter and Tumblr. I am at PrettyDeeceJosh in both places. And of course, send us an email. You can be cool like that was a tongue twister for me. You can be cool like Kieran, is what I was attempting to say. Send those emails to cast@KamenRiderSucks.com. So once again, thank you very much for listening. We will be back for Kamen Rider Geats episode 14 next week. Make sure you join us back here as well. But until then, have a great week, everybody. Peace.
I'm taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic